Once a year, I always return to my favorite series of all time, the Batman Arkham games. Especially Origins, which always seems to be the neglected member of the family, but I fully believe that it's just as good as the trilogy. Returning to Batman Arkham Asylum though, it's not exactly the hardest game in the series, but I wanted to challenge myself. So today, I took the Perfect Knight achievement literally and decided to become the Perfect Knight by getting every achievement hitless. I hope this won't be a mistake. That actually scared me. Every time I would get hit, I would restart from checkpoint. Also, side note, I ended up not using detective mode unless absolutely necessary to progress the story. So if I lost track of an inmate, I'm just as scared as them. Now I'm only missing 8 of the achievements, which are Free Flow Perfection for doing all the combo moves in one combo string, 6 of the challenge achievements, and of course, Perfect Knight for 100% completion. Although I'm not missing any of the story achievements and don't technically need to play the story, I'm going to play it anyway. It just doesn't sit right for me to do this hitless challenge and only do the combat and predator challenges. So let's begin. This classic story has Batman taking Joker to Arkham Asylum, where Joker, who planned this all along, ends up escaping and immediately ensues chaos. And it's our job to stop the madness. We are of course playing on hard, which in this game removes the counter icon whenever someone's about to hit you. With Joker on the loose, there are some notable villains that we do come across as well, with our first one being Zaz, who is holding this guy named Mike. Yeah. No, not Mike! We gotta save Mike. Mike's our guy, so we protect him at all costs and take down Zaz.
There's no escape, Joker. I will find you.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
He's right there. You found him. Just get him. Weird champ. Although this intense game of cat and mouse continues, we are interrupted by a Titan. I also took damage for the first time here. All we had to do was survive long enough until his heart flatlines. The first stealth section we flew by and were greeted by the Rizzler, who gives us a riddle. This is the only time I'm going to mention him, but for the most part I've played this game so many times that I can remember the riddles like the back of my hand. We actually do something that a lot of us, me included, haven't done in a long time, and that is going outside. Also, let me just say that this game's atmosphere is so breathtaking, and it really shines in this game. The start of the best franchise ever. Progressing on a bit, trying to find our boyfriend Jim Gordon using his tobacco stash, we walk past some aspiring construction workers that are working ever so hard in a section that would definitely not be more important later on. The stash leads us to medical, where we have our second stealth section, which is pretty easy, as long as you remember your own rules. Got him. Oh, I need to reset. I'm using detective mode. I'm using detective mode. I didn't even realize. Whoops. Throughout medical, we save a bunch of doctors along the way, and as the story progresses, Arkham Asylum puts a great mental struggle on Batman, and I think that insanity finally starts to catch up with him as he decides to commit his first crime. Batman doesn't kill, right? Like, you know, that wouldn't kill someone, right? Like, he's fine. I didn't kill him, but I left him severely concussed, and he has 8 ribs broken. And his legs are snapped in half. But he's still alive. Don't worry, I kept him alive. The insanity goes even further as he's encountered with some of his biggest fears, which is always his parents. And platforming? The scarecrow scenes are always the coolest parts of this game, but they're just so short. The first boss fight of the game is Bane, and the main critique of this game, other than the combat and stealth being quite limited compared to what we have in the newer games, is that the bosses are just kind of meh. Bane is just a copy-paste of the Titan that we ran into at the beginning of the game and later on. Other than a slight mistake, we were able to get past him only on the second try. We head to the Batcave for the Batclaw, which makes a lot of the stealth sections easy, which I'll mention more of later on. Some easy combat sections lead us to getting out of the sewer. My first actual hill I had to climb over was something that I actually completely forgot about.
Enemy spotted.
Who am I kidding?
Is that a sniper? I don't think that's a sniper.
Sniper.
That's a sniper. That's a sniper. Yeah, it turns out these guys all have the precision of the American sniper, plus having wall client installed, which made these guys a bit difficult to traverse around. But that didn't deter me from charging head first into them. And, I'm coming for you, boy.
And if you hear a shot in the dark, don't worry. There's very little chance of you getting hurt. It's the Batman
What? You got walls! Hacker!
Oh, anything here is sharp
get
and dark.
blocked.
Don't worry. There's very little chance of you getting hurt.
Oh no, that's a tree! The tree got in my way.
I want to check
Coming
your
for
health
you,
insurance.
sniper.
Who am I kidding?
No!
I want to check
Look at
your
him.
health insurance.
Got him.
Who am I kidding? You don't have
First
any.
try. Inside the mansion, we must find Dr. Young, who's one of the doctors that we saved earlier. In here, I finally got all the combat upgrades so I could finally go for a free flow perfection. I couldn't have picked a worse place to attempt this because after every fail, I would have to hear this.
Joker here with a little update for you all.
The problem that I was having was that I couldn't pull off the ground takedown without getting punished for doing so. It took me around 20 minutes or so before I finally was able to get into the groove. A secret tip that I definitely wouldn't advise doing is to pause to get your bearings. But I totally wouldn't recommend this. We find her parents again in another short scarecrow scene. Afterwards, another encounter with Zaz holding Dr. Young and ended up saving her.
With her blood.
Oh, I actually messed up and ended up saving her for 10 seconds where she ends up dead anyway after all our hard work. The next area of the game I ran into Poison Ivy, saved the warden, and got to the Harley section. The main concept with this area is that the floor is electrified and that whenever the floor goes off, you need to go to a different section. If you stay in the middle, you can go to the other side easily. Even so, I was stuck here for a couple attempts. Also notice how each attempt, they make the inmates come from the right door? Yeah, I found out the hard way that they come from other doors here too. I'm waiting. What? What? That was unexpected. Why did they come from over there? They really Houdini'd me. After beating it, I ended my stream for the night and found out next time that I didn't get a checkpoint after all, so I had to do it all again. Oh, I gotta do this again? I did this last night. Oh, I didn't save. I had to do it again. Also, if you're enjoying this, feel free to subscribe and like the video. Also, I did mention my stream, so if you aren't aware, all of my recent videos have all been streamed on Twitch first, twitch.tv/uTobias. Next, we enter the Botanical Gardens, where the stealth encounter is actually a little difficult, if you don't cheese it like I do. I promise it works. I think I gotta back up a little bit. That's my problem. Yeah. Come here, boys! There should be one left now. And that's why the Batclaw makes these Predator sections a little cakewalk. The Predator mission right after this is a special circumstance that makes you not able to get detected, as they'll kill the hostages. Basically the same way I've been playing anyway, but Batman decides to take his next victim. Hey, you know what? I'll just push them down, you know, and just...
I didn't find me.
Goodbye, I'll never see you. Oh, look! At least there's a hole. Although Batman is not for killing, he definitely killed that guy. There is not an inch of shame and guilt on this man's face. He looks happy he did it too. It's crazy that he fell down there and there's railings. Like, how do you do that? What is he? Are you supposed to be looking over the railing? Just say it was you and it was self-defense and we'll be good. After this, we don't have a fight with one Titan, we have a fight with two Titans, which weren't that bad as they friendly fire each other. Wait a second, hold up.
Yeah, go back and play with that for a few more.
Hello, gang. Watch out for that hole. It'd be a shame if you fell down it. We go down into Killer Croc's lair to be able to create an antidote for the Titan virus. Before that though, we run into probably one of the coolest things this game has. Last night. Fake crash. Which sets you back all the way to the beginning, and now the roles are switched. I'm the Joker, baby. Be honest, how many of you fell for this when you first played this? I remember shutting my Xbox off a couple of times before realizing this was the game's doing. Anyway, the last Scarecrow sequence is easy, and we are now at Croc's lair. What you're supposed to do is crouch and carefully walk your way to the next spore, which I will say, for the most part, I did. But once Croc jumps up, I just sprint to the next spore, and although he looks faster, he can never catch up to you, making this section a lot easier and way less scary. The next part is the elevator, and oh boy, when I thought of this challenge, there was 2 sections that I was genuinely scared of. This was the first one, and the second being the Poison Ivy boss fight, which are pretty much back to back. I actually somehow managed to get through this after 14 minutes of attempts, which I think I got off fairly lucky. Now, Poison Ivy did not let me off the hook so easily. Not only was it hurtful to lose on a good attempt to these red orbs, but it was even more painful to have to listen to this cutscene so many times.
I told you to go to your cell.
Side note, there's a skip button, but still. Eventually, I found a strat that I'm surprised I never thought of before. When she shoots the red orbs, instead of dodging every time, I would just run around in a circle. And it worked. I have now founded the circle strat, so if you attempt this challenge, you can just send me an invoice later on thanking me. Also, finding out that the halfway point of this boss actually gives you a checkpoint was a relief, as before, sometimes when you get hit, it would smack your ass back very far. Honestly, I would have been stuck on this for a long time if I didn't, so thank you base gods for that one. Now the finale, crashing the party, which was actually harder for me than the next part, oddly enough. I would explosive gel the floor and then take out a bunch of them, giving me an extra head start. The last before the actual finale was 2 titans and a bunch of inmates, which I painfully got hit as it wouldn't let me jump on the titan because the other titan friendly fired him, stunning him. I feel nothing but agony. Anyway, the next attempt is done. It is now time for the Joker fight, which is a joke. The hardest part about it is the teeth that randomly pop up, but throw a batarang and it's just an easy fight. I made it to the last health bar on my first try and got swatted by his big finger, and finished the job after on the next attempt. Although I was not keeping track of deaths, I think it was around 40 to 60 if I did have to guess, with most of them actually coming from me trying to get the perfect free flow achievement and Poison Ivy, of course. This did provide a decent challenge for me. It was a lot of fun to do actually. So if you're like me that returns to these games, give this a chance. We aren't done just yet, as we now have to finish the combat and predator challenges. I started with combat as that is my strong suit. It's actually a bit easier here as the counter logo above people's heads now appears. I flew by all the regular challenges and got free flow bronze. I made it through the first of the expert challenges easy, but past this I started struggling. As you can see, it was never the score that was the issue. If you messed up on round 4, you had to restart all the way at round 1, and you're almost bound to make mistakes. The last 2 extreme combats, Shock and Awe and Jungle Rumble, were a struggle, and to be honest, this was the first time I actually thought about giving up on the challenge. And I did after this happened on the last round with 3 guys left. I hit him! What was that, Gabe? Oh my god, bro. I don't care anymore. I'm done with the challenge. I'm done with it. I guess you could say it left me in shock. And wait, before going straight to the comments telling me that I didn't actually complete this challenge, please watch until the end of the video. Eventually, I got free flow gold, with not doing the last 2 challenges hitless. Now it's time for the predator missions, which were a bit trickier than combat. Like the regular challenges, I zoomed through them, gaining Predator Bronze and eventually Predator Silver. The one Predator challenge that I had a lot of trouble with was the first Extreme Challenge. It was mainly trial and error, figuring out how to get all the 3 medals. I had to spray 3 walls and knock them all at the same time. I could always get 2, but the other one was a bit trickier, but nothing too bad. The second medal was the trickiest one, which was to zipline kick a henchman through a window. No matter what, I would get damage after doing it, and eventually, like the combat, I gave up and completed it with a speckle of damage. Looking back on this, I'm majorly disappointed in myself for not thinking of something so easy, but the main problem I had with it was once I ziplined into the window, from the outside the cubby, I didn't have enough time to actually get out of there. Now the last challenge was actually very fun. I had to pull the 3 guards off the railing, pull 2 from under the ground, and have a guy shit his pants, earning me the Predator Gold, and also the perfect night for 100%ing the game. But I didn't feel satisfied. I set a challenge and I did not complete it. So after a couple days of it on my mind, it didn't sit right with me that I was inches away from the finish line and just gave up. As always, my pride got the better of me and I went right back into the 3 challenges. I was quickly able to beat the first combat challenge in 10 minutes, which honestly I'm screaming at myself now looking back on this as I literally had 3 henchmen left. Now I didn't explain why I struggled in the Jungle Rumble combat challenge. There's 2 gun boxes on this challenge, and if you're riding the Titan, they can still be able to shoot you. Sag. However, I did notice after a couple of resets, they would only try to open it up past round 3 and 4. So my plan was no matter what, was to not let them touch their fun toys. Alright, we're gonna get the Titan down. No! No! Come here! Yo, we got it open! No one is allowed to touch that box. No! 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 Okay. I almost reset it by accident. After that, I was able to finish the challenge. Now time for the last prior mission that is holding me back from this challenge being completed fully. Once again, I'm heated at my past self that I gave up on this, as all I had to do was throw a sonic batarang and line launch to the other side rather than inside the cubby. Somehow that never came into my genius mind when I was playing, but we learned from our mistakes, I guess. With the biggest obstacle out of the way, it was time to finally wrap it up. That guy. It has to be. That's it. We did it all hitless. We did it all hitless. Non-hitless Batman Arkham Asylum. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad my pride took over and got the best of me, so I had to do it. I didn't feel like it was right to end it so close to getting it done. But I got it done. So, that is all of Batman Arkham Asylum without taking damage. And it is actually possible to get every achievement in it. I gotta say that the main story was a lot of fun. The challenges, not so much. The total time by the end was around 12 hours, and I will definitely be returning to future Arkham games with the same challenge, as I love playing them, and I can imagine certain areas actually being hell to get through. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this, and bye bye.